Warren Jeff's run ended on a Nevada highway, where his arrest finally pulled the FLDS prophet out of hiding. Trials in Utah and Texas exposed forced marriages, abuse, and DNA evidence tying Jeffs directly to crimes against children, culminating in a Texas life sentence. Tonight, in Part 5, we trace his downfall and how his grip on the FLDS continued even from behind prison walls. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you thought keeping a journal was a great tool for self-awareness and emotional growth, stick around. It usually is. But when you're a sick fuck pedo rapist cult leader, it just might lead to your downfall. This is Necronomipod.
Well, boys, we made it through another 2025. Another year, we made it through 2025. How was that?
It was not a bad year. I have no complaints.
I feel like it went really fast.
Let me tell you, pal, the older you get, the quicker it's going to feel. So get used to it.
Yeah.
Not great.
But yeah, I guess I don't have any complaints about the year, really.
I'm a little different than you guys. I felt like this year, some parts went quick, some parts went real slow. Like this feels like it's a very, this year felt longer than the last few for me.
That's good.
Maybe that's a good thing, I guess.
Makes your life feel longer.
Yeah. But it was good. No complaints, like you guys said. It's been fun.
Winter's kicking things off with some heavy-handed weather.
Ooh.
So I think it's going to be a long winter here in Ohio.
We were due. We've had some mild winters the last few years. So you knew at some point we were going to get our comeuppance and it was going to, fuck us up.
I had drove home from Cleveland Sunday morning during the storm, and it's probably the worst roads driving in years that I remember. I haven't driven on roads that bad in quite a long time. So.
It was bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been multiple times. Thanksgiving night, I was driving back from Cleveland, and it was horrible here.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yesterday was horrible. Yesterday afternoon was horrible. It kicked our ass. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much over it. I fucking hate it, dude. Like, this is the first year that I fucking cannot stand it.
Not even winter yet, pal.
I was going to say, and Ian, can you believe we have a week until winter starts?
I know. It's terrible.
Speaking of year end, everyone was sending us their Spotify rap stuff. Really cool. Thanks for passing those along. I know we shared some of them to our Instagram story. We obviously couldn't share all of them. There were hundreds of them, but very cool stuff.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's always really cool to see how much people listen to the show.
You guys got any big plans for Christmas break? Anything planned for into the New Year's? Obviously, like normal or the last few years, after this episode, we're going to take, 2 weeks off, our rare vacation we take, and then come back, the second Sunday in January with a new episode. You guys got any Christmas break plans?
No.
He's like, in a word, no.
He thought about it, though. He was like, I don't know, do I? I'm not doing shit.
Wow, that's rare,
I'm going to
Dave.
love every second of it.
Thought you'd be on vacation somewhere or on a cruise or doing something.
Just on my couch, man.
All right.
I just started watching the sequel to Yellowstone, 1923. So I watched Yellowstone, 1883. Now I'm on to 1923.
And yet you still won't read Lonesome Dove.
I thought about that watching 1883 as they're driving cattle. I'm like, I really should finish that Lonesome Dove book.
You never really got started with it. You were only, a few pages in?
No, I read like 25% of it.
Oh, okay. All right, you read more than I thought. Yeah.
And the only reason I didn't finish it because I had it from the library and hit my 3-week time limit, and they took it away from me. And then it was in the queue, and then you move on to something else, and so that's what happened.
Pal, I just want you to know I have 2 copies. You would like to borrow one, you are more than welcome.
I may need to do that.
And I will extend you an extra week than the library. You have 4 weeks to give it back to me.
Very generous.
I'm just kidding. You can keep it as long as you want. Pretty sure you still have my election of 1912 book from the last decade and a half.
I do have that. Yeah. I've had that for, probably 10 years.
At this point, it's just your book now.
You can borrow it if you want. 5 weeks.
Look at that.
See? I one-upped you.
But a down payment of $10.
That's right.
For real, if you ever want to borrow it, let me know. You can just hold on to it for as long as you need.
Yeah, I should finish it. I hate leaving books on halfway finished like that.
I do too, but also if I'm not enjoying the book, you have to move on. You shouldn't waste your time reading a book that you're not into or that you don't like. And that was a tough cut for me because I would force myself to finish them. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm not enjoying it. I want to enjoy reading. If something's not good, put it away. I do that with TV shows all the time. I don't know. I promote happy reading.
There should be no other reason. I mean, unless you're in school, but at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like, if that's the only negative reading you would be doing, right? Is for school.
Yeah. Like if you pick something up and you don't like it, it's okay. You tried. You gave it a shot. It's not, I mean, as long as you're reading more than like a page or a chapter, read it a little bit. If you don't like it, put it the fuck away. It's not your time. I
tried to read The Shining from Stephen King because I love the movie, but I couldn't read that fucking book. I read like 20% of it maybe.
Yeah.
And then I just finally stopped. I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Why spend your time doing that? You know, and especially nowadays, I feel like people just struggle to read books in general. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do it, find something that captivates you and that you love and read it. And then
that nourishes your soul.
It's not going to feel like reading or you know, like an effort. It's going to just be fun. Pick up a book that you can't put down. That's my thoughts.
Well said, sir. Well said.
I'm trying. There's I bought, speaking of Stephen King, a few months ago, I bought that 11/22/63, which a lot of our listeners recommended to me, which is a Stephen King take on the Kennedy assassination. I haven't read it yet, though. It's just kind of been on the shelf. And I just was scrolling through Instagram today and it popped up. Somebody was listing like a book influencer. I don't know what they're called, but someone who reads books for a living and reviews them online. Had it as one of their top 5 all-time favorite books.
Oh,
so I might have to dive into that soon. It's just a commitment. It's about 900 pages. So
that's a big book.
It is. They call it a thick boy in the literature business.
Do they?
Yeah. Well, at least I do. With 3 C's and an I in boy. So that means business. Maybe that'll be my winter break project. I'm finishing up some Chuck Palahniuk. Maybe my winter break will be reading some Stephen King. I've never read Stephen King before.
Okay. I support you in this cause.
He's just very detail oriented.
Some of it's too much at times.
You guys have said that before. Like he'll spend pages describing a room. And you're like, all right, I get it. Let's get to the meat.
I forget what room we're in by the time he's done describing it.
That's what happened in The Shining for me, reading that book. I just tapped out.
Well, okay. Well, the last year and this year, we have ended our year with pretty heavy hitters. Last year was Columbine, and this year FLDS.
Oh.
So we've been doing well with the season finale cliffhanger type shit.
Has it really been a year since we did Columbine?
I believe that was the last 2 shows we did. I think we did 2 shows on them, right? It was like 2 25 pagers that we did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think that was last year's Christmas break. If it wasn't the last, it was like the second to last, and then we did like 1 show or something. But I don't remember. But it was the end. It was December for sure.
And speaking of December, if you want to spread that good cheer and holiday wishes to some of your friends that maybe are looking for a Patreon subscription to Necronomipod, you can find that at patreon.com/Necronomipod/gift. Give the gift that keeps on giving year round.
That's patreon.com/Necronomipod/gift. Good work, Dave.
Like that?
That's a fucking plug. All right, let's finish up with this asshole.
So where we left off on part 4, it was late August 2006 on a dark stretch of I-15 near Las Vegas when a Nevada Highway Patrol trooper pulled over a red Cadillac Escalade because its temporary Colorado tag wasn't visible. Inside were a nervous, salad-eating older man in the back, a woman in a high-necked prairie dress, and a younger man driving. All of them gave their IDs with fake names, and their stories kept changing about where they were going, multiple states. No one had a story in order.
I think you might want to get that together if you're going to go out on the road when you're on the top 10 list, right?
The thing about this is they've been on the road long enough to be on the top 10. So they've had more than enough time to figure out just some type of a story, a little bit. After backup arrived and an FBI agent compared photos, the quiet man in the back was confirmed as Warren Jeffs. He went into handcuffs without a fight, and a search of the SUV turned up laptops, a pile of prepaid phones, wigs, sunglasses, more than $50,000 in cash, and tapes and letters addressed to the prophet.
I guess you might say that situation really escalated. So dumb.
A couple days after the arrest, Warren waived extradition. There wasn't any big fight or anything like that. He just peacefully agreed to be sent back to Utah to face 2 first-degree felony charges of rape as an accomplice. The charges were built around the one case we talked about last week. That was the spiritual marriage that he arranged in 2001 between 14-year-old Alyssa Wall and her 19-year-old cousin, Alan Steed. What Utah was going with was that Warren wasn't the guy in the bedroom, but he's the one who forced the marriage and then pressured Alyssa to submit to sex she did not want. So he's legally an accomplice to the rape. Alyssa begged Warren beforehand not to make her marry her cousin, and she asked to wait until she was older or just to marry someone else, and Warren went ahead anyway, performed the wedding in Nevada. And when she came back later saying she was miserable and didn't want to be intimate with her cousin, well, it's her husband, but it's her fucking cousin, Warren got her to go back and to obey and give herself to him, quote, mind, body, and soul, and to obey without question.
Just the fact that a young girl in this country has to beg someone not to force her to marry her cousin is it just beyond pale of anything acceptable.
Yeah, like I would consider all 3 of us normal, well-adjusted people. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird to think about this kind of stuff actively going on.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in this country, there's some fucking foolishness going on like this, similar to this, right?
And one day we'll do a podcast on it and put it under the cult category, much like we are this one.
That's exactly right. I don't know why we're surprised, though. It started with this kind of fuckery, in 1800s. So,
yeah. They were consistent throughout, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Joseph Smith started, I think his wife was of age when he met her, but not too far after, he went off the rails with underage girls.
Yeah. It's just a derived con to fuck kids at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the core tenet of it. This is what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Children of God was the same way, remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did whatchamacallit, David Waco, Fucks with David
Koresh.
Koresh. Did he fuck kids? Or is it just other people's wives?
There was some debate about him and a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old and what is legal in Texas and what isn't, kind of thing.
I remember that now. Yep.
I mean, when you have to equivocate over something like that, I think you've already lost, right?
Yeah. You're right. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah,
Whatchamacallit's in that the Netflix series, the same guy who played Garfield in the Death by Lightning. The actor you like, Dave, who played Garfield.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah, isn't he the FBI guy in Waco?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's good. I like him a lot.
Real good.
While Warren waited for trial, he was held in solitary at the Purgatory Correctional Facility in southern Utah. That's when you get these like weird jailhouse tapes in January 2007, in phone calls and in a recorded visit with his brother Nephi. Is it Nephi or Nephi? I know I said it wrong in part one when we were talking about their beliefs.
I think it's Nephi.
Nephi. I know I was roasted for.
Oh yeah, people love to tell you how to pronounce stuff. They
so
love
upset
it.
about that shit. Ugh.
I live in a town called Medina. Do you know that any person in the world that calls it Medina? I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit. I don't correct them. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. You know what? For the sake of this show, we should call it Nephi. 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 Just to shove it up their asses a little bit.
A lot of pronunciation Nazis out there in the world, let me tell you.
End of the year, now we're just ranting, getting everything off our chest. Fuck you guys for correcting us.
A lot of Hermione's. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
What is it, Levioso?
Is that what it was? It's Levioso. I can't even remember the fucking line now.
Wait, is this from the show or is this from Harry Potter? What are we
From
talking
Harry
about?
Potter.
Oh, okay.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. However the fuck she says it.
I was about to be real confused. I was like, did I fall asleep for that episode?
Well, so Warren was doing this thing where he was still calling from prison. At first, he renounced himself as being the prophet. Like, it wasn't me. But then a few weeks later, he walked it back and told his followers that it was all a great spiritual test. For people like on the outside and like the prosecution, they're viewing this as like he's kind of scrambling for a second, you know? But I sent you a clip, Dave, of him talking in one of these jailhouse things. Just get an idea of what one of these sounded like. And this is after he renounced himself. He went back to being the prophet.
Just kidding. I'm back, bitches. Here's a clip.
The 12 ladies gathered in my office that pray nightly at 9:30 p.m. Hello, ladies. Hello, ladies. I trust you're all being Zion increasingly. Are there 12 of you gathered? Okay. The Lord showed me He's very pleased with this group of 12 ladies, willing to do whatever you're called on to do, and others that have stepped forward and are learning how to live the higher order of the celestial law. Also, I've been shown that all of you need to become more fervent.
Hello, ladies. Hello, ladies. He 100% sounds like a mouth breather as well.
Oh, horrible voice.
So that's like the sound quality of his communications. His Utah trial started in St. George on September 11th, 2007. The prosecution walked the jury through the marriage and ordeal regarding Alyssa. The defense tried to argue that if the state had a problem, they should have charged Warren with arranging an illegal marriage, not with rape, that he didn't personally intend for non-consensual sex to happen.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. The jury, clearly they weren't going to buy that. And after about 16 hours of deliberation, they found Warren guilty on both counts of rape as an accomplice. Jurors later said two facts drove them. Alyssa was 14, that's common sense, and Warren was the only person with the power to stop the marriage or get her out of it. In November 2007, the judge sentenced Warren to 2 consecutive terms of 5 years to life in Utah State Prison.
You get to wear your magic underpants in prison? Probably in Utah, right?
Maybe it depends who's governor.
Yeah. There's never a non-Mormon governor of Utah, right?
I don't know. Is that the case? Are they always Mormon?
I think so.
I'll change that. I'm officially announcing my candidacy for governor of Utah. What's your religion? I'm a nihilist.
A nihilist.
Warren's lawyers appealed to the Supreme Court, arguing that the jury had been told the law wrong. Under Utah's accomplice liability statute, they said you couldn't just show that Warren had forced a marriage and given awful spiritual advice. You had to prove that he specifically intended that non-consensual sex would happen as a result. The instructions the judge gave focused more on his relationship and authority over Alyssa than on his intent about what her of-age cousin actually did in the bedroom. In July 2010, the Utah Supreme Court agreed. They unanimously reversed Warren's 2 rape as accomplice convictions and sent the case back for a new trial, saying the jury should have been told that Warren couldn't be convicted unless he intended for Alan Steed, the cousin, to have non-consensual sex with Alyssa. They didn't say the facts were fine. They said that the jury had been given, quote, deficient instructions on consent and accomplice liability, which meant Warren didn't get the strictly fair trial the law required.
Getting off on a technicality, if you will. I'd like to retract my statement. There have been several non-Mormon governors, so I still.
It seemed a little much, but
Not
also,
since the
but also it didn't seem a little much.
right. It could have went either way, right? Last one was in the 50s, so it's been some time.
Okay.
Utah prosecutors looked at the resources a retrial would take, talked with Alyssa and the other people involved, and decided to not do it again. In November 2011, they formally dismissed the Utah charges, saying it wasn't in the interest of justice to haul everyone back into the courtroom when Warren was already never going to be getting out of Texas prison. Because while all of the Utah stuff was going on that we were just talking about, Warren had been dealing with Texas as well. Which I like that they sat down with the victim. There's a lot of times we cover stuff where it's like the prosecutors make decisions without contacting anybody, So
Should be collaboration. A lot of times.
So backtrack a bit to Texas. While Warren was on trial in Utah in late March 2008, a domestic violence shelter hotline in Texas got a call from a girl who said that her name was Sarah. She was 16, living at the FLDS ranch near El Dorado, and her 50-year-old husband was beating and raping her. She described being trapped at the Yearning for Zion ranch with no way out. Staff treated it as real and passed it along to authorities. That call was what brought Texas Child Protective Services and law enforcement to the gates of the YFC ranch in early April. So on April 3rd, 2008, when officers and CPS workers pulled up to the ranch, they came with SWAT team, tactical vehicles, helicopters. They were ready for a Waco-style resistance from them. Instead, the reaction from inside was polite, nonviolent. They were just more confused than anything else. The adults inside insisted they didn't know a girl named Sarah, that nobody by that name lived there. CPS and Texas Rangers went in anyways under an emergency order, searching homes in the temple, opening safes, vaults, going through locked rooms. Over the next several days, they removed more than 400 kids from the ranch while courts tried to figure out who belonged to who out of these kids. Because remember, there's like fucking 50 wives and they each have 12 kids, whatever.
Yeah, right.
The wives don't even know. They're like, oh, maybe that one's mine. Maybe that one.
God.
They got to mark their arms like Michael Scott when he marks the waitress from the hibachi place at the Christmas episode.
That's right.
I just started watching The Office again the other night.
Yeah, from episode 1.
No, it came in like it was on TV, and I just started watching an episode or in season 2, and I've just kept going from there.
That's
Good
what
stuff.
happens. I started watching Abbott Elementary. Have you ever seen this show? It was very funny. I like it.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it new?
I don't know. I think it's been out for several years.
Oh,
It was like one of those Instagram clips that hits my story all the time. I'm like, all right, this looks very funny. I'm going to have to start watching that. So
yeah. All right.
This is a really odd detail to this case, but later on, investigators did figure out that the Sarah call was fake, like a fake tip. Phone records traced the hotline calls to Colorado Springs to a 33-year-old woman named Rosita Swinton, who had a history of calling in fake abuse reports while pretending to be teenage girls. Like, this is something she's gotten in trouble for before.
I honestly, phony phone call serves justice. I feel vindicated somewhat here. I like to see phony phone calls doing some good in the world after all of the phony phone calls I used to do in my youth. So I applaud you, Rosita Swinton. You're an asset to the craft.
There was no 16-year-old Sarah Barlow at that ranch. The last name's interesting, the Barlow, because we talked a couple weeks ago. One of the Barlow was the last name of the mayor of one of these cities. He got his whole family was kicked out.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Either way, there was no Sarah Barlow at that ranch. The way the state handled the case with the kids kind of blew up in their faces. CPS tried to argue that every child on the ranch was in danger just by being in that environment, which that's a solid argument. In May 2008, the Texas Supreme Court said no, the state hadn't shown enough evidence to justify removing all the kids from their mothers and ordered that most of them be returned. Part of the drama of this, too, was that these kids, like, it wasn't organized very well as far as like the foster home situation was. And like these kids got scattered out pretty far. It wasn't responsibly done.
What a shock, huh?
As this whole child removal case was falling apart, the criminal case was getting stronger. While authorities were on the ranch, investigators didn't just take the kids. They seized documents, computers, temple records, pictures, and audio tapes. They pulled what were called bishop records that listed these marriages between grown men and girls as young as 12. They found a custom-built bed inside a private room of the YFC temple, which was like a special bed that was used to consummate these marriages to these girls.
Or rape kids, more.
Yes.
Is more description, or more descriptive term, or more accurate description. Sorry.
And then they just went around the complex and took DNA swabs from everybody to figure out who belonged to who exactly. Technicians took cheek swabs from kids and adults, labeled and logged all of this stuff, and then compared those samples to each other and to the families listed in church records. When they ran those profiles, the results tied specific men to specific children. In Warren's case, the tests eventually showed that his DNA matched a baby born to a 15-year-old girl, confirming that he had fathered at least one child with a teenager.
I'd love to see the family tree that sprouted out of this, all this DNA testing. Can you imagine what those branches look like? God damn.
So with this evidence, Texas was going to do what Utah's flawed conviction couldn't. That was put Warren Jeffs away for life. And like we said before, Utah already knew that they had all this to use against him. That's why they backed off and figured they'd let Texas do it.
Don't mess with Texas. That's what they say.
I'll watch this drive.
Texas charged Warren with 2 felonies tied directly to what they'd pulled out of the YFC ranch: aggravated sexual assault of a child involving a 12-year-old girl, and sexual assault of a child involving a 15-year-old girl, the one that gave birth to his child. Both girls he had, quote, married at temple ceremonies in this place when he was in his late 40s, early 50s.
Every girl's dream.
Dude, there are some pictures online of Warren kissing underage girls that just give you a fucking reaction when you see them.
I agree completely. Disgusting.
It's crazy that all these people were just cool with it. This is a mind-blowing cult.
Well, it's just psychosis all around, because I've read that, older men who were convinced, who gave their daughters to him willingly like that, then they in turn were given young girls for wives. So essentially just trading your kids for young kids yourself to have sex with and stuff. It's a whole circle of just, I don't even know what the word is.
Disgusting.
Yeah, vileness.
And that's the thing with Epstein Island. I mean, FLDS. It's just everyone's just okay with it. And you get what you get and you give what you give. And everyone's just like, all right, thanks, pal.
Yeah.
This is quite a gift exchange we got going on.
That's really it. Man, it's depressing. All those little girls, their lives are ruined like that.
Yeah.
It really makes me sad.
That's horrible. Makes you want to fucking punch these people. Give them a knuckle sandwich right in the nose.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Fuck boy.
I'd wind it up like Bugs Bunny in a Looney Tunes. Give him an extra hard knuckle sandwich.
Get 10 times more pressure and torque behind that punch.
Oh, that's true. Sure. I mean, that's a proven fact. You wind up and then it lets loose, right?
That's right. Kinetic energy releases then.
Did you guys watch Looney Tunes and shit like that when you were kids?
Dude, yes, and I still watch. Like sometimes I'll fall asleep. I'll put on YouTube and just put on like an hour long of just Looney Tunes stuff, and I love it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Foghorn Leghorn is always going to be my favorite of the Looney Tunes. Marvin the Martian, also big fan.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like the old Pink Panther show a lot. You guys remember that?
Real good.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. That's like one of those good vibe shows for me. My
Yeah.
grandpa played that all the time.
I think same for me with Looney Tunes. Like just something that's just like, you're just going to laugh. You're going to relax. You're going to be cut off from all the news, everything in the outside world. Three Stooges too for me. I like doing the Three Stooges.
So Warren was moved to San Angelo, Texas for a trial in the summer of 2011. Right out of the gate, he fired his lawyers and insisted on representing himself. Like, everybody hates that idea. Like, everybody's annoyed by that shit when that happens, right? But that's his right. And typically when people do that, you expect them that they're going to act like an asshole the whole time, right? Like Charles Manson acted like an idiot. Ted Bundy acted like an idiot. But once trial started, Warren didn't act like anybody, like didn't get out of hand. He mostly sat silent and stone-faced at the defense table, not cross-examining witnesses much. And then every so often he would stand up and go into a long rambling objection towards something. He addressed the judge and jury as if they were his followers, telling them that they were, quote, judging the Lord's servant, that God would bring, quote, sickness and death on anyone who harmed his prophet, and that the court was in violation of divine law.
Well, no, if I was on that jury, I'd feel very compelled by all of that and obviously side with him after he told me that.
You swayed me, Warren. You got me.
It'd be genuflecting every time he walked into the courtroom.
Yeah. I'm gonna excuse all the kid fucking now, Warren, based on your threat there.
Yeah.
This is probably just for show, right? Like any last grasp for followers on the outside.
Show some strength, sure.
Yeah, probably, keeping that kayfabe probably with everybody.
I mean, he's smart enough to realize, I think he's smart enough to realize
that he was done.
Yeah. Right? I mean, I don't
think
think that Warren probably didn't buy into the shit he was preaching.
Nah.
I think most cult followers are extremely intelligent. They just often get carried away with whatever their indulgence is. Like, with Jim Jones with like the drugs and shit, and like took him out. Like he could have probably reigned supreme for another couple decades had he not coked himself out or whatever. All these cult leaders are intelligent in some way, and that's why they're in the position they're in.
You have to be smart to be able to work people like that. So yeah absolutely.
It's smarts, and it's the charisma to just kind of woo everybody.
Now you look at this gentleman, and you don't really sense an outpouring of charisma.
You don't
coming out of
it.
his pores, but
You don't see intelligence. You don't see charisma, but clearly it's there somewhere.
You didn't hear it on that clip either. His voice is terrible.
No.
You see someone who would have to do stuff like this to have sex because no normal adult woman would want that man's penis inside of them.
Yeah.
Amen.
The prosecution had all of this evidence that we've been going through, all of it backed up by DNA. One of the big things with this trial is just very vile, but there was an audio recording from inside the YMC temple that captured Warren and others during one of these, what they called heavenly sessions. That's raping of a child with a 12-year-old girl. Going through like news reports and stuff from back when this was going on, the way that it was talked about with the jury was that they were looking away from like where the speakers were. Like people were very visibly uncomfortable with this. Like it's terrible.
I'm fucking chubbed up now hearing that. That was not me. I didn't say that. That's false, and I will have my lawyers review that audio clip.
If you say so.
I think that was AI. Where did I say that from last week? Was that a bonus show or was that an OT? I said,
Ian was describing an old man making out with a young girl on a Disney or something.
No, but to be clear, she was of age, girl. It was just like it was Belichick. It was Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. Something like that. It was? I think so. That might have been on Patreon, but it was something like that. They were of age.
Well,
it chubbed me up. I can't help it. Chubbed up now hearing that.
When it was Warren's turn to push back on any stuff, we talked about earlier how he was talking about people would die from sickness and all this stuff. He also tried to put in a 20+ page revelation from God, like into the record.
Your Honor, I'd like to enter into evidence exhibit A. Trust me, bro. This fucking guy.
The judge refused to admit that to accept that.
Good. Asshole.
Other than that, Warren had nothing. So closing arguments wrapped up and the jury didn't take long. After just a few hours of deliberation, they found Warren guilty on both counts of aggravated sexual assault of a child and sexual assault of a child. The next phase was sentencing. Texas let juries decide punishment in cases like this. Prosecutors reminded them that under state law, aggravated sexual assault of a child carried a possible life sentence, and that Warren had been at the top of this entire system built around underage marriages. The jury came back with the maximum sentence: life in prison for aggravated sexual assault of a child, 20 years in prison for sexual assault of a child. And the judge ordered the sentences to run consecutively, not side by side.
Bummer.
Boom, roasted.
After the verdict, Warren was processed at the Byrd Unit in Huntsville, Texas, then transferred to the Lewis C. Powledge Unit near Palestine, Texas. once he got locked up, and this is why I think his stunt in court wasn't because he thought that he was actually going to win this trial. It was to keep the scam going, because he didn't just suddenly stop being the prophet. He just started preaching from his jail cell.
Well, a lot of people find Jesus in prison, Ian. I've known that to be the case. So maybe he'll actually find Jesus. Turn over a new leaf, if you will.
Yeah.
So he can be in heaven with everybody.
We keep adding to that party every week.
It's going to be awesome up there.
He was housed at the Powledge unit in protective custody. At first, Warren had the same privileges as other inmates, limited phone calls to approved family members, visits behind glass, mail, all that kind of stuff. But he immediately started using that to preach to people. On Christmas Day 2011, he used his allowed phone time not for a normal call, but to preach to a wide congregation over speakerphone, giving this long sermon. Clearly, this isn't allowed. So when the Office of Inspector General looked into it, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice took away his phone access indefinitely and hit Warren with other sanctions, like weeks of no commissary, no contact visits, and restricted recreation.
No yard for you today, Warren.
Through letters and whatever calls he could squeeze through, he pushed out a series of revelations that got more extreme as time went on. Former members and relatives described one of the big ones that came out in late 2011 was this thing that all FLDS couples had to stop having sex. They could still live in the same house, but they were told not to live as husband and wife, quote, until Warren comes out and reseals them. For some people who had been here for a long time and, you know, were questioning things, this was the last straw.
Of course. They got that 14-year-old girl walking around their house and they can't have sex with them. They're fucking pissed off. They're like, what the shit, Warren?
Like that's what this whole scam was, and now you're taking away the one good thing about it, and I'm out, bitch.
In mid-2012, ABC News was reporting on another revelation from Warren. Warren announced that only 15 specially chosen men were allowed to father children for the FLDS moving forward. Everyone else was supposed to live in celibacy, and women were told that babies had to come through those designated, quote, seed bearers, acting on the prophet's authority.
Oh, my God. That'd be a good wrestling bit for you guys. Seed bearer, Paul Bearer's niece. Something.
Paul Bearer did spread his seed, and that's how Cain was born. So, I mean, I can give you the deep dive on that, but I'll spare you. Alas, he fucked the Undertaker's mom before the Undertaker allegedly burned his family in the funeral parlor, thinking he killed his mom, dad, and brother. But Cain is very much alive, and now is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, incidentally.
Seed bearer, right?
No. Oh, my Undertaker. I planted my seed in your mom because she's a whore. That night, after I blew in her, I did rest in peace. Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Something like that he probably said. I don't know.
Remember that bit they did where like the camera was laying on the ground and him and Jerry Lawler were talking about his mom?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a
Undertaker's
shoot.
mom?
It was supposed to be like a shoot where like they were like, oh, just two boys in the like locker room talking, and Paul.
They
Bearer,
might as well have been saying what you were saying. It was pretty out of hand.
Oh, they were worse than what I said. I'm pretty sure it was worse than what I said.
It was bad.
Yeah.
At the same time, Warren was giving out all these revelations. He started tightening the economic and property control of the FLDS. In 2011, church leaders rolled out what people on the inside later called the dish rag revelation, a command that faithful members gave absolutely everything they owned to the church, quote, down to the dish rags, and let priesthood authorities decide what each family needed. If you didn't comply fully, you risked being declared unworthy, losing your house, all that stuff we talked about last week. Texas officials kept trying to shut down Warren's broadcast abilities, taking away his phone and all that stuff. But things happen in prison, you know what I mean? Like, people figure out ways to get around stuff. And every once in a while, he would get out handwritten or typed revelations dictating what his followers could wear, what they could eat, where they could live, who was in, who was out. So Warren's not the only criminal here, right? Because just because he was giving people permission to marry, you know what I mean? Like,
they're doing it.
yeah, like these guys could have, there's 50-year-old guys involved here that could have said, no, I don't want to marry this 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver paid to take, oh, fuck, what's her name?
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster up to the room. She was what, 12-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl at the time. He just wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
He didn't want to fuck her.
Company.
He wanted to try to help her. Point is, he could have had sex, and he didn't. And
Robert
then
De Niro's a good man.
he killed her pimp and got her back home to her family where she had run away from.
That's true.
Did she want to go back home?
She was not happy in the pimp life she was living in New York City. I think she initially ran away, but I don't think she was happy with the life she had had.
Oh, it's not easy. Pimping ain't easy.
It's certainly not. Harvey Keitel was her pimp.
That's right.
Or
That's
he
right.
runs a tight ship. Did you know that? So in that movie, De Niro's character was it Travis Bickle? Travis Bickle. He was a bit of a lunatic, but he tried to assassinate a man who was running for president at the time, and that is what influenced the assassination on Ronald Reagan.
To impress Jodie Foster.
To impress Jodie Foster, John Hinckley, to impress Jodie Foster, who is also in the movie and was, working on the campaign of the guy that Palantine, right? Yeah, Charles Palantine was the candidate, and Jodie Foster was working for him, and Travis Bickle tried to assassinate him because he was out of his fucking mind, and that is what influenced. John Hinckley became obsessed with Jodie Foster and thought, hey, the best way to impress her is to kill an actual president, right? Because that'll do it. And he shot Ronald Reagan. That will be a future Mike's History Corner. But
all right.
I was going to say I'd like a history corner on that because I'd like to know more about that story.
Yeah. Oh, we could do that. That would be awesome because the whole first half we could just talk about Taxi Driver, which is fucking one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a great movie. But yeah, we'll do that.
I remember to this day coming home from somewhere in grade school and watching the news coverage after Reagan was shot.
It was 81 because it was within his first few months, I think, in office.
It was in March, yeah.
Yeah. So he was only in office like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then as 9 years old.
As the story goes, he got shot. They threw him in the limo. He was bleeding pretty bad. When they got to the hospital, he buttoned up his coat, kind of kayfabed it all, walked in through the doors, Reagan did, because he knew the press would be there. And then as soon as he got in, collapsed. I'm not sure if that's all entirely true. That's the story, but I'm gonna do a deep dive and we'll cover that soon.
Looking forward to it.
Wow.
That's what they based the episode on West Wing when Martin Sheen got shot.
That is exactly right. Yeah. He in that though was hit badly and did not walk into the hospital.
Mm-mm.
Spoiler alert for the end of season 1.
I think the West Wing had a former Secret Service agent from Reagan's detail on as like a technical advisor.
They did because who's the Secret Service agent? What the hell's his name?
Ron,
who is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
Like just the entire show, he gives the feeling of like, this guy's legit. Like he felt like a Secret Service agent. And I believe he had somebody on set that was like helping guide him, like what he should do and stuff. Yeah. Really interesting. Nerd Corner with Dave and Mike.
You got to go watch Yellowstone and all those so we can talk about that on the show.
Yeah. All right, I'll watch Yellowstone. Ian will watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Dave, you watch Always Sunny.
There you go. It'll make for better combo in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So Texas went after these other guys. In all, 11 men were charged. 10 were ultimately convicted on child sex assault related counts. Sentences ranged from a few years to decades. One of the most notable was Merrill Jessup, effectively the on-site leader at FYZ when Warren was hiding out. He was sentenced in 2010 to 75 years in prison for sexually assaulting a 15-year-old and fathering a child with her. Meanwhile, Warren's brother, Lyle Jeffs, was trying to keep day-to-day control over what was left in Short Creek and the satellite communities. That ended up blowing back on him, not for the underage marriage, but for food stamp fraud. They have gotten in trouble so many times for this bleeding the pig nonsense that they do.
That's a lot of SNAP benefits to make up the $50K in cash that fucking jerk off had in his Escalade when he got arrested, right? That's my tax money, fuck stick. I want it back, Warren.
That's legit like the least Christian or like Jesus like thing to do. Steal fucking food from kids and then fund your shit with it.
Yeah, not great. Sounds culty to me.
Federal prosecutors charged Lyle Jeffs and other FLDS leaders with running a scheme to have members sign over their SNAP benefits, then using those benefits in bulk purchases to support church businesses and leadership rather than feeding their own families. And these kids could have definitely benefited from SNAP. There's like fucking 20 kids to a household. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely not all nourished properly. Lyle was put on house arrest in Utah with an ankle monitor in 2016. This dude for real using olive oil, like lubed up this thing and slipped it off of his leg and took off.
Do you know how difficult that would have to be? Like they don't put those on loose.
Ouch. You might say he had an extra virgin escape plan, and that works on so many different levels here.
Except not at all, because there's no virgins left, right?
He was a fugitive for almost a year until an off-duty sheriff's deputy in South Dakota recognized him at a small marina in June 2017 and called it in. Lyle was arrested, brought back to federal court, and in September 2017, he pled guilty to defrauding the SNAP program and to his escape. That December, he was sentenced to nearly 5 years in federal prison, plus restitution and supervised release. So everybody's kind of getting in trouble here. That's where we're going through now. The underage kid stuff, those guys got in trouble. But there's a lot of people that broke the law involved, a lot of financial shit too.
Yeah, it's a criminal organization all the way around.
Back in Texas, the state moved to wipe the YFC ranch off the map. In 2012, the Attorney General filed a civil forfeiture case, arguing the ranch itself was contraband, bought and built as a place to systematically sexually assault children. So under Texas law, the land and buildings could be seized. The judge agreed. In January 2014, District Judge Barbara Walter ruled the state could take the property. No one from FLDS appealed. So in February 2014, the ranch officially became state property. The same thing happened with other FLDS places. Up in the Black Hills of South Dakota, the church had built a guarded compound near Pringle. After a big civil rights judgment in Arizona, creditors went looking for assets, and in 2021, a South Dakota judge ordered the Pringle compound sold at a sheriff's auction to help satisfy that judgment. But former FLDS members bought it.
Of course they did.
I didn't expect to get as much current information or kind of news regarding these people as we're getting into now.
Did the former members buy it to I don't know, make it a better place to purge memories, something like that, or maybe.
Another brother of Warren's, we talked about him last week, Seth Jeffs. He spent the 2010s kind of like a roving fixer for what was left of the church. He had already done time for helping Warren evade capture in 2005, then surfaced as the leader of the South Dakota compound, and later as the buyer of a remote forest piece of land in Minnesota. That happened in 2018. And when people found out that it was a guy tied to the Jeffs family, they're kind of worried that, are they going to build some kind of compound up here kind of thing?
Yeah, you don't want kid fuckers moving in your neighborhood.
In 2023, that Minnesota property quietly went up for sale and changed hands. Records show Seth also bought land in Wisconsin, and as of 2025, he and the church were still fighting civil suits in Minnesota over whether those properties were really his or fronts for FLDS assets. On the civic side of things, Short Creek politics flipped dramatically. For decades, every mayor, council member, and cop in Hilldale and Colorado City, remember that's what makes up Short Creek, was either FLDS or handpicked by FLDS leaders. That changed in November 2017 when voters in Hilldale elected Danya Jessup, an ex-FLDS woman who had once been kicked out of town. She was excommunicated. She was the city's first non-FLDS and first female mayor.
She's like, I'm back, motherfuckers.
In that same election, non-FLDS candidates won all open council seats in Hilldale and several in Colorado City. For the first time, people who weren't taking orders from Warren or his inner circle were running City Hall and doing normal small town work. And really before, this has been since, the polygamy fallout in 1890.
Yeah.
The local economy got away from all the insular church stuff and defrauding the government. By the early 2020s, Short Creek had a modern grocery store, a public library, new schools, coffee shops, Airbnb stuff going on out there. They have a small winery. Currently in 2025, Colorado City has a craft brewery and a distillery called Short Creek Spirits. So a long way from everyone wearing long sleeves in the middle of, all that heat and shit.
Yeah, this sounds like an actual fun place to go visit now.
Check it out on Airbnb, man. Your next trip out there, buddy.
Maybe so. We'll see.
Drinking everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody in Short Creek loves the changes. There are still pockets of FLDS loyalists. And as of today, 2025, there are a few thousand people. A lot of times it's estimated at around 6,000 people. That's kind of the number that you always see out there, who treat Warren Jeffs as their living prophet and still listen to his revelations from prison.
What a world, pal. What a world.
That's the FLDS.
So he's still considered the leader today.
The prophet.
And has there been any split in this?
Not that I'm aware of. Like,
are there some Mormons that are just like, oh no, that was the dark side of our history. We don't follow him. Or is it just, no, he's there. He's our prophet. He's locked up, and that's how it is.
I guess you could go back to the regular Mormon church, but you're not taking this behavior with you.
Yeah, they're like, no. Those are the good old days. Sorry, but we can't do that anymore. I don't know if you've heard, we're mainstream now. Kidding, fucking's off the books now.
So this is more of just a minority group that still follows him. Or
how many Mormons are there? Let's see.
Oh, probably 20 million ish. It was always a small sect. They never got at the height of their numbers. How many were in the FLDS? Wasn't that many, a couple small towns there, but
That's good.
That is a good question, though. All the people they kicked out, do they go back to being regular Mormons, mainstream Mormons?
Unless you gave up everything. So they, at the height, 10,000 members Warren had. He still has held on to a solid amount. There are 6 to 7 million Mormons in the United States. So yeah, I mean, this is a tiny sliver of that.
Small fringe group.
I did also read that one of Warren's actual daughters alleges that he molested her, sexually abused her when she was a kid.
Yeah, I 100% believe that.
Yeah, I would assume that really happened.
I did read a cool thing that in that town, one of his quote unquote wives, or one of these women, was awarded his house during all this. And it's like a 28,000 square foot place where he used to live in the city. And she turned it into a place called a Dream Center, like a refuge for former FLDS members and transition assistants and stuff like that. Very cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a crazy part of this whole story, is that excommunicating of young guys and stuff. And like all these people just kicked out with no life skills at all.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Where do you even go?
On par for cults.
Yeah. People who push the religion the loudest are usually the farthest from it, in my experience.
Sounds about right. I think you have that tattooed on your ankle, don't you, Dave?
Oh yeah, it wraps all the way around.
Yep, and then down your foot a little bit.
Yeah. I read it all the time when I'm doing yoga.
And it ends like it wraps around your foot, and then it ends in a crucifix. Like the whole thing's like a rosary.
That's right,
around your foot.
It's nice to remember that.
Yeah.
Well, that was a journey, Ian.
Ooh, that was 5 fucking weeks of intensity.
I know. I thought it was going to be 2 weeks.
Well, in all fairness, when you started it was just going to be Warren Jeff's story, which you did do in about 2 weeks, maybe 3. But
that's it. There was no way to tell this story without starting with Joseph Smith. It wouldn't make sense if you didn't tell Joseph's story.
Starting in the middle.
Yeah. But just to think, it all starts with Joseph fucking looking into a hat, putting a stone in a hat and looking into it. Pissed off his father-in-law. And then took that shit on the road, and then we're here.
It's really something.
If his father-in-law just would have knocked him the fuck out, like we had said in part 1, we wouldn't even have had to go through all this.
I'm sure for every one successful religious origin story like this, there's 100 other ones where, con men tried to pull this shit and someone just shot him, and their dumb idea died right there, like it should have all along.
Yeah. Shot him out of a window, like what you gonna call it?
Like Joe?
Joe.
That was my favorite part of the story when he fell out the window. That was awesome.
Who else was shot? Was there someone else shot?
His brother.
Yeah.
I think a couple other guys got hit too. One of them got out of there with nothing.
But he fell out of the window all dramatic, all fucking extra, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph Smith.
He yelled. I remember there was debate on what he said. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he yelled something out.
I think it was Sic Semper Tyrannis. Oh, that was John Wilkes Booth. Never mind. Sorry.
They just yelled, ah, hoo, 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 hoo.
That's probably what he did yell. Well, Ian, anything else that you want to discuss on this one? You put a lot of work into this 5 weeks. It was very good. This was entertaining.
Thanks, man.
I always love the cult stuff. So shit like this is so entertaining, I think.
Yeah, and this has a little bit of everything. I think the only point I wrote down is like a kind of wrap up for cults, like being like a destructive cult that ruins people's lives and stuff that we've talked about over the years. Like Jim Jones holds the crown, right, for being responsible for deaths.
Yeah.
I feel like Warren is on par with with Jim Jones as far as like a destructive cult, you know? Like he ruined a lot of young girls' lives and stuff.
There's a lot of survivors from this that have to now live with the trauma from all of this.
You only get one childhood. These girls only had one chance to be a little girl, and this is what they got.
Yeah.
I think they should line up everyone in a position of leadership in this church at a wall and shoot them all in the fucking face.
Well, it's Texas, right? So that's not out of the question at some point.
No, it's not.
Might still happen.
Yeah, they have to keep Warren away, right? He's got to have his own little spot in jail, I would assume.
I'm surprised he's still alive.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, he probably is segregated from everybody, just isolated in his own little area. You think he's going to get day privileges like fucking Epstein did? Just walking in and out?
Going to work?
I'm just saying it's happened.
Yeah. I think there'd be too much of an uproar for that.
I would hope so. All right. You guys got any other final thoughts on this in general? Anything else?
Nah. It was interesting to learn some of that stuff, like the early stuff of Mormonism.
Yeah.
It really sets up an episode in the future of the guy that was forging Mormon documents and then like blew up a bomb and shit. It's such a crazy story. Yeah. Like this guy was forging documents from allegedly written by Joseph Smith, and the Mormon church, like the highest of the highest levels, were buying into this guy. We'll hit that story in 2026. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
But that's all I got. It's been a fun year.
It has been. What a way to end it too. 5
Spending
parts.
time with all of our listeners and in our necro bubble.
Yeah.
What more do you want out of life?
Hopefully giving everyone a little break from the day-to-day hustle and bustle, and
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
a little escape from the sad reality of our mundane existence. Alas.
That's uplifting, sir.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye. Dave, what do you got for us on Patreon?
Thank you to new patrons. New G's Jen Loves James. Jessica Warren. This next one might be my favorite Patreon name of all time. Shooting rope in the Costco Tire Center bathroom.
That is so specific.
That is so specific. And I just picture someone sitting down and coming up with that. I don't know. That is one of my top favorites.
Did they come up with that because they did that?
Yeah, I feel like that's a confession they needed to get off their chest.
That's what I'm saying. Nice work. Well done. Ally. Tiffany Oliver. Maybe it's Allie. It's spelled like ally, but we'll go Allie or Ally. Tiffany Oliver. Natasha. Ellie Day. The Scarlet and Gray Witch. Zay Woods. Walker. Hannah Lacerdo. John Hopkins. Stay Lost. Larissa, Hand on My Sack. Angela Kelly Brimer.
Wait, what is it?
Larissa, Hand on My Sack. Hand on My Sack. That's the last name. Hand on My Sack. Hand on My Sack.
Is it supposed to run together and we're missing it?
Well, first name's Larissa. Last name, Hand on My Sack.
All right.
Angela Kelly Brimer. Alexa McIntyre. Con Chronic Slice. David the Rock Johnson. Superfly Snuka and the Cucks. Danielle Grate. Michael Vucic. I know Michael Vucic is an old friend of mine. Welcome to Patreon. Glad to see you listening to my opinions. Riley Olek. Emily Berry. Ms. B. Haven. Rebecca Toe. Robin Johnston. Kirby Bell. I hate Zach's velvet hat too. Heathen. Heather Hankins. Jackson 5 fingers in your booty hole.
Good grief.
Lexi, and Isabella A. Welcome, new patrons. A treasure trove of content is now at your fingertips.
I like that dig at Zach's hat.
I hate Zach's velvet hat too.
Who wears a fucking flat bill hat made out of velvet? That's
awful.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is a wild decision.
I'm gonna have to look this up. What does he wear it every episode?
He wears it a lot.
It's gonna be, yeah, that's fucking awful. That is stupid.
Get Mike one for Christmas.
No, thank you. Ugh. Okay. Ian, anything else on your end? Anything to wrap up the year 2025?
Patreon, we just did an episode on the Covina massacre. That was a poll winner.
Real feel good story for the holiday season.
It's something.
Yeah.
So that's there. But then next week we have, or next week, later this month, Mike's History Corner coming up.
We do. We'll end the year with one of those. I think last year we did, was that last year we did Zachary Taylor and his mysterious death, eating cherries and milk. And then we also are going to have at the Art Beltier a variety show that Dave has been working on for quite some time.
That's true.
It's going to be live. It's going to be on Zoom, interactive. A little bit of a game show, chance to win and show your knowledge of things.
All sorts of things.
Yeah.
Bring
Yeah,
back
looking forward to it.
some classic bits, perhaps. Classic games, perhaps.
Yeah. And we'll
Can't
be there
wait.
hanging out, talking with you the whole way through. It'll be a little fun party to end the year.
Yep. That's it.
Patreon.com/Necronomipod. Dave, anything else on your end?
Nope. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, all the holidays. Enjoy.
Yeah. I think our next show is scheduled for, January 11th. It'll be 3 weeks. 2 weeks off.
That's it. 2026.
But we appreciate you sticking with us this far. It'll be the, 7-year anniversary of Necronomipod coming up. God damn.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We've been friends for a long time before that even. So
Yeah, even longer. All right. Well, we appreciate
time flies when you're having fun, right?
How about it?
Even faster when you're getting old, pal.
We appreciate you guys listening every week and sticking with us. Happy holidays and safe travels if you're going to be going anywhere and out on the roads. We'll, as Michael Scott said, catch you on the flippity flip. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Necronomipod, Patreon.com/Necronomipod, Amazon.com, search Necronomipod for all of our merch, and Necronomipod.com.
All right, you guys ready for a cool down beer?
Cheers.